Hey guys, it's June 25th, 2016, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video than I typically do, and actually look at a little project rather than taking a look at a piece of rolling stock or a locomotive. So this video is actually kind of a follow-up to a video from Mayo, Monster Railroad, where he purchased some PTC antenna arrays, 3D printed ones off of Shapeways, and made some modifications to them, sanding them down, painting them, and putting them on his locomotives. So after seeing his video, I decided to give it a shot because, like him, I guess I'm kind of getting impatient waiting for the Athern PTC arrays that are supposed to come out. I think right now they're scheduled for sometime in July, but who knows if that'll remain the case. So anyway, after I saw his video, I thought I'd just give it a try. So here's what I purchased from Shapeways, shapeways.com, and they have quite a few. Really, it's just one seller, but he has several different styles, but I went with style 1, Norfolk Southern. I primarily own Norfolk Southern locomotives. I have a handful of UPs, but so I went to Norfolk Southern. Mayo, he went with style 1, I believe, so I just decided to pick up style 1 as well. So they come as a 6-pack, and I've already broken these apart, but basically it came as one sheet of 6. This is half of them, so 3 of them. So all 6 come together. You just snap them off, and then you can shave off the little pieces where they are attached to each other. So it's a pretty, for as small and thin as they are, it's a pretty strong plastic. It's weird. It's a strong plastic, but then I actually dropped one and it broke pretty easy. So I'm actually down to 5 of them. But anyway, if you've seen Al's video, you know that he puts them on just a palm sander and sands them down to get them just a little bit thinner. And I did that as well on the one that's painted here, because they are just a little bit thick. If you compare them to something straight from the factory, like I have an MTH -9 or ES44, I can't remember, but it has a PTC array on it already straight from the factory, and these here, the Shapeway ones, are a tad thicker. So I did exactly what he did and sanded them down. And for paint, I just used the testers. Zoom out here a little bit. I used the testers flat black spray paint, and that seems to be a pretty good match to most of my Norfolk Southern locomotives. And then for the PTC or the Sinclair antennas on top, I just used testers silver, and a really fine point brush to get in on those. And then for the little tiny domes, the white domes there, I just used testers white, same as this in the little jar, only white. So just 3 paints. Spray paint seems to hold pretty well to the plastic. So if you watched Al's video, you know he purchased the lift rings from Detail Associates, item number 1101. I did the same thing because these do not come with lift rings, so I added them on. There you can see them, and they do add a lot of they just make them look a lot more realistic if you don't, by having them as opposed to not having them. So there are supposedly pre-drilled holes on the sides for lift rings, but I had to do the same thing that Al did, which was to kind of drill them out a little bit to get the lift rings in. But anyway, if you were to do an image search for Norfolk Southern PTC arrays, you'll see lots of different colors. Like you'll see some that are gray. some that are a darker gray with lighter gray stripes, kind of what Al did with his. And then you'll see ones like this that are all black except for the Sinclair antennas and then the couple little white domes. So I just went with that just because it was easier. I could just spray paint the whole thing black and then paint over the black where I wanted the silver and white. So so that's what I did. So I'll probably do that with all of mine. And what I'm going to be adding it to is this Athearn SD60M that at the moment just has these three little antennas, a couple Sinclairs, and then one smaller one. So I'm going to take those off. I assume they'll kind of just pull off fairly easily. And then we'll put this down, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here we are with it installed on this Athearn SD60M. And so the existing antennas did basically just pull right off. You can see I destroyed a couple of them. They didn't come out quite as easy as I thought, but this one came out fine. So you can see there's just a little tiny post on the bottom that just sits down into a little drilled hole. So I might save that little one for I guess just to have. And then here's the, I'll zoom in a little bit, but here's the final product. So as you can see, just it's definitely to scale. So I guess the final verdict is I'm pleased with what you get from Shapeways. Again, it's probably just a little too thick, so I would suggest sanding it down, just like Al did. My only complaint, I guess, would be is that because it's 3D printed, that it's all one piece. So what Athearn is supposed to be releasing next month are individual pieces. So things like the Sinclair antennas are separately applied. So what that would be good for is you could paint the individual pieces separately with whatever colors you want and then apply them in the end. Whereas with this, I had to spray paint the whole thing black and then come in with a fine brush and a not so steady hand and try to paint these little tiny pieces silver. So that would be my only complaint, is that, and obviously there's nothing you can do about it since it's 3D printed, but just the fact that it's all one piece makes it a little harder to work with than what I think the Athearn array will be if and when it's ever released. So I think I'll do maybe another one of these, one or two, if I get impatient with waiting on Athearn or just have some free time to kill. But I think I will definitely pick some of the Athearn ones up and give those a try and just see how they work out with it being separate pieces with the Sinclair antennas and all that. So anyway, I will put links below with a link to Al Mayo's video if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, as well as a link to the Shapeways item. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.